and helicopters throughout the area. The victim is a 25-year-old male from Troy who is alive and in stable condition. The suspect is not yet in custody, but not believed to be at the hospital. We will not be releasing any victim or suspect information at this time due to the ongoing investigation. And hopefully later this morning we'll be able to provide a further update with some additional information. I'll take a couple of questions if anyone has one. Yes?
Do you have a better idea who you're looking for?
Can you just talk about the response of this and what how you have to clear a hospital with a lot of rooms, it's a big building, a lot of people inside?
Correct. Yeah. This is obviously something that takes all these agencies to respond, and we're very thankful that all these agencies dropped everything they had going on and responded immediately to assist us in searching the hospital. We have multiple coordinated search teams calling out and clearing floor by floor at a time, every room at a time. It's a very large operation. Obviously, this is a massive hospital that we have here in our city. Again, it takes everyone that did respond. We have agencies from all over the surrounding area, to include some federal agencies that also responded.
Although you're not sharing the suspect description, do you have a clear idea of who you're looking for? And as far as lockdowns in schools, daycare centers, et cetera, where does all that stand to?
Yes, so the hospital is still in lockdown, but we're coming to a close here on being able to be confident that the hospital is clear, as well as at that point I think we will be releasing soft lockdowns on the local schools and daycare, but we will notify them when that does take place. We want to make sure that that is the best information we have before we release those lockdowns at both the hospital and the local schools and daycare. As far as the suspect, the victim was able to identify the suspect, so that's how we're able to narrow that down.
Did you say both the victim? Go ahead.
Was this like an ambush? Did he surprise him in the parking lot? Did they fight in the parking lot and then shots rang out? What led up to it?
Not exactly sure what led up to that. That's still being investigated and looked into, and I hope to be able to provide that information to you a little bit later.
I know you said you weren't providing a lot of suspect and victim information. Who was the 25-year-old man that you...
The 25-year-old male from Troy is the victim in this incident.
And he is going to be okay?
He is in stable condition.
The shooter is a
Correct.
male as well, did you say?
Pardon me?
The suspect is a male as well, did you say?
The suspect is also a male. I'm not going to release any further information than that, but the suspect is not in custody, like I had mentioned.
A lot going around on social media about the fact that both of these individuals were in scrubs. Can you confirm that?
I don't have that information.
Do you know in what capacity they were employees? Were they doctors, nurses, custodial staff, security?
I also don't have that information. I'm not sure what exactly their employment capacity was at the hospital.
What about for how long have they been employed at the hospital?
That I don't know either. I'm sorry.
Was the handgun left at the scene, or did they take it with?
That I'm not also sure on either at this point.
How can you assure those that are in the hospital? I mean, there's thousands of employees. This is a frightening thing. I know you had said that.
Yeah, so we can assure those in the hospital because we have, like I said, multiple agencies inside that hospital. Still continuing to search the hospital, and at this point in our investigation, we're pretty confident the suspect is no longer inside that hospital.
What makes you so confident, if you can answer that?
I'm not going to share that information at this point.
Can you share the emotional feeling at this particular moment? We're talking about a massive hospital, hundreds of patients, hundreds of employees. What's the emotional state there now, as best to your knowledge?
Sure. This is very emotional, I'm sure, for all those employees that were at the hospital and immediately involved in this, who received the lockdown notice immediately. Like I said, I just want to send a message to them that we're there, we're on scene, we're doing our best to keep you safe, and I'm confident that they are safe inside that hospital.
I know you said that you're confident they're not in the hospital anymore. Do you believe the suspect is still in Troy, and what should residents do?
Residents in the immediate area should just kind of avoid the area and obviously keep their eyes peeled for anything suspicious they may see. Obviously call our dispatch center if you observe an individual that you're not familiar with, or could possibly fit the, I don't have a suspect description at this point, but something out of the ordinary in that immediate area, absolutely. And still encourage the public to avoid the hospital and the immediate area. I know all the major intersections within, a mile to 2 miles of that hospital are locked down right now.
If you don't have a suspect description, how do you know who you're looking for?
Well, we know who we're looking for. That's why. But I don't want to share that information with the public until I have further information on it. So.
Did the conflict, is it something that happened at work that led to this, or is it something from outside of work being brought in? Like, did they know each other prior?
Sure. It seems that they did know each other. I'm not sure how extensively, at work or outside of work, but that's something that we are looking into here. So, all right. I think that's all the information we have to share at this point. So, like I said, I don't have an exact time of when further information will be shared later in the day, but I would keep an eye on our Twitter, and I'll share that information on there when it's available.
Also, sir, we've done many stories about folks posting on social media when they see something, when they hear something, they tend to post it themselves. How important is it for folks to call you guys right now?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I would say call us before you intervene yourself. And for those who are posting information that they think they know something on social media, I would probably stay away from that because you're potentially providing bad information to the public, and we don't want to send people into any kind of panic. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Can you tell us, are there video cameras in that garage?
All right, so the press conference wraps up to update everybody on the active shooter that was at Troy Beaumont. Let's go back live now to Robin Murdoch, who joins us from outside the hospital. Hey, Robin.
Good morning, Ryan. Yeah, a lot of information and a lot of questions that were answered in that press conference that just wrapped up moments ago. Investigators during that press conference, they told us that the victim and the suspect in this situation, they're both employees at the hospital, and they apparently knew each other. So this is a targeted situation. That is why they have been saying from the beginning that this is isolated. I'm going to step out of the way so we can show you some of the activity behind us right now. As you can see, still a number of police cars. Now, during that press conference, the investigators talked about how there was a handgun that was fired, and that it was fired off 5 times at the victim. The victim, though, was only shot twice. He was hit twice in the arm and is currently receiving care for those injuries. We are told that he's a 25-year-old male from Troy, and he's currently in stable condition. Now, police are not saying much about the suspect at this point. They will say that they have been searching the hospital. They've been clearing the floors methodically, letting some of the employees out, and they say that they do not believe that the suspect is inside of that building anymore. They do believe the suspect has left the building, and that is one of the reasons why they will be lifting the lockdown shortly. And they were very appreciative, investigators during that press conference, just so appreciative of the many investigators that were out here this morning, that responded, that they dropped everything just to get out here to try and deal with this situation and try and track down the suspect. A suspect, again, that police are still currently searching for. So we are going to stay out here. We're going to continue to keep an eye on the situation. Again, we do have some new details from investigators during that press conference in which they said the 25-year-old man from Troy, he is in stable condition after being shot twice in the arm, and that the suspect, they are currently searching for him. The two of them apparently knew each other. They both worked at the hospital, and that is why they are describing this as an isolated incident. They are still telling people to avoid this area if you can. Now, obviously, a lot of emergency crews down here. Police need some room to be able to do what they need to try and get the suspect into custody. Again, we'll stay out here. We'll continue to monitor the situation, give you new details as we do get them. Back to you guys in the studio.
Hey, Robin, just a procedural question. The police say they know exactly who they're shooting for, but don't want to share it with the public just yet. Is that a strategic effort there by the police? Is that why they do something like that?
Sometimes police do this because they want to have a little bit of a head start on somebody, right, Ryan? So oftentimes they will not identify them so that perhaps they can track down family, friends, things like that that may be associated with this person. Maybe they may go to places where they may often frequent. So that is one of the reasons why sometimes police kind of hold back some of that information just so that they can have a leg up on exactly what is happening. And that likely is why police are not identifying exactly who this suspect is at this time, only saying that the victim in this case was able to identify exactly who shot him 2 times. Back to you, Ryan.
Robin, you've been on a lot of emergency situations. You've seen a lot of setups like that with police cars. When you stepped out of the way, that looked like a very robust police presence. Does it feel that way to you? And is that potentially because it's taking place at a hospital?
Yeah, this is definitely one of the larger police scenes that I have been out to recently. I mean, there are dozens and dozens of police cars. I will step out of the way so you can take a good look at them. I mean, there are dozens and dozens of officers that have been out here throughout the morning. They've been out here since just after 7 o'clock this morning. We're talking about officers from Troy, from all over Oakland County, from Shelby Township, from Macomb County, from Sterling Heights. I mean, during that press conference, they mentioned how it really was all hands on deck. The second that officers said they needed help, everybody from the surrounding areas really dropped everything they were doing to get out here and to try to get this situation under control. Obviously, a lot of people work at this hospital, a lot of people receiving care at this hospital, so it just heightens the elevation of everything that investigators are dealing with.
Robin, there's a lot of parents watching this in the Troy School District right now as kids are in school. I think it's worth mentioning as well that the lieutenant there did say he believes that we're going to release the soft lockdown at the schools because he does not believe at all that the schools are in any sort of danger. Is that the case?
That's got to be so reassuring to parents out there, and it does kind of go along with what is happening here at the hospital. One of the big takeaways from that press conference was the fact that they do believe that they will likely be lifting the lockdown here at the hospital because they have been meticulously clearing all of the floors, sweeping all of the floors, and they do believe that the suspect is no longer on the premises, and that is why they're going to be lifting that lockdown. Back to you.
Certainly a relief for parents in that area, and we've also spoken with folks who are now starting to be evacuated and able to go home to their families as well. Robin, I know you'll stay out there. We also have team coverage, several other members of our Fox 2 family on the way to the scene as well, so we'll check back in with you in just a little bit. Robin, thank you. And we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. back. We have been following breaking news all morning long. Let's head back out now to Josh Landon, who is at a media staging area with the very latest. Josh, what have you learned?
Hey, Mario, good morning to you. As we can all imagine, a very emotional morning for the city of Troy, all of Metro Detroit. We're learning it was all hands on deck. It's currently all hands on deck. Multiple police agencies across the metropolitan area. We're talking K-9, helicopter, drone, all hands on deck in terms of this active shooter situation going back to the hospital earlier this morning around 7:08. Right now, we are currently at the Troy Police and Fire Training Center on John R. and Long Lake, a little more than 3 miles away from the actual hospital scene where all this unfolded. Again, it all happened around 7:08 this morning. Lieutenant Hancock with the Troy Police Department informing us shortly a few moments ago. The press conference lasted for about 6 or 7 minutes. He's telling us this was between two people, the suspect and the victim. The victim shot twice in the arm, in stable condition. The suspect himself, he is still at large. Although police aren't giving a description on who they are looking for, they are telling us that suspect was identified by the victim. Let's listen to Lieutenant Hancock for a moment, just as he describes exactly what happened with that shooting. Take a listen.
Security was able to give us information that it appears a handgun was fired 5 times at the victim. The victim was hit 2 times in the arm, and his vehicle was also struck. This appears to be a targeted incident between 2 employees of the hospital. So it is not believed that the suspect is still inside the hospital. The search is included with canines, drones, and helicopters throughout the area.
And again, as we all have been following this morning, the shooting happening in a parking structure at Corewell Beaumont Hospital in Troy, about 3 miles from where we're standing right now here at the Troy Police and Fire Training Center. One victim shot twice in the arm, in stable condition. Police are looking for that suspect who remains at large. Also, something important to mention, I asked the lieutenant shortly before the press conference wrapped up, in terms of social media, we're all seeing different videos and captures, and this is a time where people are emotional and they tend to post on social media. This is a time, if you come across any information, call your local police department right away. When you do that, it can add extra layers of the investigation, which can get in the way of the real investigation. So if you come across any information, contact Troy Police Department or your local police agencies, because it's all hands on deck. The suspect remains at large. It's not believed he's in the hospital, but nevertheless, police have a good idea of who they are looking for. So if you have any information, call police directly. Back over to you guys.
Josh, that's an interesting element there, because earlier in the morning there were nurses and patients who were tweeting saying, we have this information, we were barricaded inside of this room, we're on this floor, some even sending out messages to loved ones. And that is how police did get a little information about what was happening early. But now that police seem to have a handle on that situation, they are now saying they prefer that the social media stop so that no misinformation is spread.
And Mario, that's also a very good point. In a time like this, in these days and times, it becomes a very fluid situation. So yes, in that moment, you reach out directly to your loved one. But nevertheless, in this moment now, police are saying contact them right away, because this investigation is active. They have identified who they're looking for, although they don't want to share with us who they're looking for, because it may get in the way of them capturing that person. But yes, in the instance, in the initial moment, you do what you can to get to your loved one, to find out exactly what's going on. It's fluid. It's fluid. It's emotional. The victim, stable condition, hit twice in the arm. The suspect remains at large. A very emotional time here in the city of Troy. That hospital, very massive, hundreds of employees, hundreds of patients, 2 employees where this is involved. It's a lot to unfold, but nevertheless, if you come across any information, call police right away directly.
Josh, now it turns to finding the suspect who's still at large, and Lieutenant Ben Hancock said during his press conference that he wasn't going to give out too much information about the suspect. But you were at police headquarters. Are you picking up on any increased activity? Is there anything that you're finding out being there on the scene?
In terms of here at the Police and Fire Training Center, Derek, I know it's very it's steady. Let's not say calm. We're not going to say calm, but it is steady. It is firm. It's active. You can tell police work is being conducted as we speak. That press conference again lasted for about 6 or 7 minutes, and yes, Lieutenant Hancock, he was very firm on not releasing any suspect information, no description, no name, none of the above. Really, just they have a good idea of who they're looking for, and he did specify. He specified this much at least, that the victim identified the suspect. He didn't go into any video cameras, any security footage, nothing of that magnitude, but the victim did identify who was the person who shot him, a 25-year-old victim.
Hey, Josh, 7 a.m. is a pretty regular time for a shift change at a hospital. Do we know if the two employees were ending a shift or just beginning a shift?
Ryan, that part we don't know if they were beginning their work shift or if they were ending their work shift. I also asked Lieutenant Hancock how long had these two employees been employed at the hospital. He wouldn't specify. Nothing more than 2 employees at the hospital, and this appears to be a targeted situation to where the victim and the suspect has something occur clearly where the suspect shot the victim, but no indication on if they were on their way to work or leaving work.
Josh Landon, live for us at the police staging area at the Troy Police Headquarters. Thank you so much, Josh. Sit tight. We'll get right back to you. In the meantime, let's go back out to Robin Murdoch now, who is live just outside of Troy Beaumont and just kind of setting the stage for us right now. What are you seeing right now, Robin?
Well, Ryan, I can tell you it does appear that there are fewer police vehicles out front of the hospital. A few of them have left out here, so it does seem smaller than was out here when I first got to the scene. The other big thing that we noticed just a couple of minutes ago was there was actually a school bus out here. It does appear that that school bus is taking some of the hospital employees off of the campus here. So we just saw that a couple minutes ago. Obviously, very hectic situation out here throughout the morning. Began right around 7 o'clock this morning, just after 7 o'clock this morning, where we now know that there was a shooting in the parking deck here at the Corewell Health Beaumont Hospital in Troy. We know that it was a result of an altercation between 2 employees, an isolated incident. We know that the victim in the situation, 25-year-old man from Troy, he does remain in the hospital in stable condition after being shot twice in the arm. And from what we understand, police, they are still trying to track down the suspect. Now, earlier they did tell us that they believe that they would be lifting the lockdown at the hospital shortly because they do not believe that the suspect is on property anymore, that he's on the premises. They do believe that that suspect has left. One of the reasons they believe that, they didn't go into a lot of detail, but one of the reasons they say that is because they have been carefully sweeping the hospital, clearing all of the floors, making sure that the suspect is nowhere to be found. So again, that is one of the reasons why they are expected to lift the lockdown here shortly. One of the reasons why some of the schools in the area, they are also expected to be lifting their lockdowns as well. Just a very frightening day for a lot of people, something that nobody really expected. We talked to employees earlier this morning who said that they arrived to work. It was supposed to be a normal day, and immediately they could tell that something was off. They saw a number of emergency vehicles out here. They were being told to get away because of the active shooter situation. And we know shortly after that, Corewell Health Beaumont, they did release an email letting the employees here know that yes, there was an active shooter situation, that they should run, hide, and fight. They should avoid the area if they are not here. So that is the latest here from the scene here in Troy. Obviously, we are trying to stay in close contact with investigators to see if there are any new developments concerning getting this suspect in custody. And the second that we hear anything, we'll be sure to pass it along to you.
I know you will. And Robin, I understand you are staged outside of the area, and so in a fluid situation like this, everything might not come to you immediately. I would imagine once those roads open up, people who perhaps did have appointments and were told to stay home are going to start driving back to the hospital or calling and wanting to know if, because the situation does appear to be contained in at least some capacity, if those scheduled surgeries will resume. So if you're able to get answers to that, people I'm sure would appreciate that. What kind of access do you have where you are? As you did mention, you're able to get some of the emails before we're receiving them here at the station, and obviously you are seeing investigators walk the area as well.
Yes, yep, we've been able to kind of keep an eye on the investigators in this area, Marielle, and like I said, one of the big things we saw just a couple moments ago is there was a school bus out here, and it does appear that they were loading up some of the hospital employees onto that school bus to get them out of this area. So certainly still a very fluid situation out here, still a very active situation out here, and hopefully one that will be resolved shortly, because investigators, they are working very hard to get the shooting suspect into custody.
Hey, Robin, just a quick reiteration here. Lieutenant Ben Hancock said a moment ago that he did expect a soft lockdown, or excuse me, the lockdown at the hospital to be released at some point fairly soon here. You are seeing a little bit of a decrease in police presence right now. Is that true?
Yeah, I do. I have noticed that there are fewer police vehicles lined up in this area. And we are seeing, you should be seeing right now with my photographer, Doug Tracy, we're seeing a number of investigators kind of walking away from the hospital right now, it appears. So, yeah, that is something that we are going to keep a very, very close eye on when the lockdown is officially lifted. But during that press conference a short time ago, they indicated that would be something that would likely be happening because they do not believe the suspect is here.
All right, Robin, thank you very much for helping us there, set the scene for us with what you're seeing. We have another reporter on the ground we've been talking to. Let's get it back out to Josh Landon for an update. Hey, Josh.
Hey guys, good morning. Yes, we just wrapped up our press conference a few minutes ago. We're waiting to hear more information sometime this afternoon. The main thing is the suspect remains at large. Police are not saying whether or not he's in custody, whether or not who they are looking for. They're not really confirming or really sharing information, I should say, on who exactly they are looking for, but they are saying that the suspect was identified by the victim, 2 employees at the hospital. It's not clear if they were on their way to work or ending their work shift, but again, this occurred around 7:08 this morning in a parking structure at Corewell Beaumont Hospital in Troy. We're here at the Police, Fire, and Training Center on John R. and Long Lake, a little more than 3 miles away from the actual hospital scene where all this occurred. But again, the press conference here just wrapped up moments ago, and hoping to find more information later on this afternoon. There's been a little bit of scanner traffic regarding the suspect. We don't have anything confirmed as of yet. At last check, police are still looking for that suspect. And as you're looking at video from earlier this morning and throughout the morning, very emotional scene, very active scene, all hands on deck. Troy Police Department, multiple police agencies responding, drone, helicopter, K9, regarding this investigation. Therefore, if you have any information, contact the Troy Police Department right away or multiple agencies. Guys, I'll send it back over to you.
Hey, Josh, did Troy Police mention at all when the next update would be, or is that fluid?
Ryan, that's fluid as well. They only mentioned it this afternoon unless they get something major developing before that time. They didn't specify an exact time later on today. They would give us an update. They just alluded to this afternoon with more information. So we just wrapped up with them about 10-15 minutes ago, but you never know. This is fluid. This is emotional. Things can change at a moment's notice. So we might get an update, but we are waiting to find out. Okay, now we're just hearing that the suspect is in custody. We were getting some scanner traffic. Police did confirm it just this moment as we're talking to you right now. There was some scanner traffic right before you guys came out to us live, but we're hearing right now that it has been confirmed the suspect is in custody regarding this shooting at the hospital, Corewell Beaumont Hospital in Troy, about 3 miles from where we're standing. We're understanding that suspect is in custody. More information about that suspect is now the next stage of the investigation for us to find out and to share with you guys. But as we're seeing, this is fluid, this is emotional, it's a sad morning in the city of Troy for this to occur at a hospital, hundreds of employees, hundreds of patients. Again, that victim in stable condition, shot twice in the arm, but we are learning at this very moment that suspect has been brought into police custody.
Josh, thank you very much. The Troy Police Department at the press conference, Lieutenant Hancock said, follow our Twitter page, and 46 seconds ago, the Troy Police Department tweeted, all clear at Corewell Troy, suspect is in custody. A formal press release will be available soon. Corewell Troy is in the process of returning back to normal operations. Again, the suspect is in custody.
And Josh, you know, when Lieutenant Hancock was speaking, it sounded like, I mean, it did sound like they knew exactly where they were going. Yes. And that's why that the hospital was going to be given the all clear soon. Schools that were on soft lockdown, they weren't in any danger. It sounded like he knew exactly where he was going.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. When I asked Lieutenant Hancock, guys, where do you have a better idea of who you are looking for, or do you know who you are looking for, although you're not sharing any suspect description? He made it very clear the victim identified the suspect. Therefore, that lets you know police knew who they were looking for. But you can understand, when the investigation is still fluid, that you don't want to give too much too soon, because it could give the suspect too much information on live TV. But nevertheless, he did allude to they knew exactly who they were looking for, and clearly they do know, because that suspect is in custody.
All right, Josh, thanks so much. But that is incredibly great news.
Yes.
That the suspect is in custody. The all clear given at Troy Beaumont. Corewell Troy in the process of returning back to normal operations.
Thank you, Josh. So we'll switch gears.
You got it.
Now and head over to Robin Murdoch, who is standing by. Robin, if they are in fact giving the all clear, is starting to see that now, and we even see evidence of that behind you, Robin, as the police presence is moving out.
Yep, just a couple of moments ago, actually, Marielle, as you know, DeQuinder was blocked off here. There was a patrol car from Sterling Heights that was blocking off DeQuinder. It left just a couple minutes ago, and now we do have traffic moving down DeQuinder. So it does appear that this area is opening up again as a result of that suspect being in custody. I got the alert just like everybody else. It was the push alert that came across my cell phone that said that, yes, Troy Police, they did get the suspect connected to the shooting here at Corewell Health of Beaumont, Troy, into custody. That happened right around 9:43. We are expecting to hopefully get some sort of an update from investigators to be able to give some insight as to how all this happened. And we obviously want to know where this happened, where they were able to find the suspect. Very interested in learning who this suspect is. Obviously, police may not release a name right away, but we may be able to learn a little bit about his age, perhaps some of the background, and perhaps they will give an indication as to what sparked the incident between the situation and that resulted in that shooting this morning, in which this 25-year-old victim was shot twice in the arm. But yes, we are outside Beaumont Hospital, Corewell Health Beaumont Hospital here in Troy on DeQuinder. You can see traffic moving along freely right next to me after being shut down since roughly about 7 o'clock this morning, and that is because the suspect connected to the shooting in the parking deck here is now in custody. He is off of the streets, and investigators are handling that situation. Present back to you.
Just, you know, incredibly efficient police work as well.
Absolutely.
You know, to have suspect's name, thankfully the victim in this case, a 25-year-old man from Troy, was able to identify the victim right away, and within just a couple of hours, Troy police and surrounding units apprehend this suspect, and the all clear is given. That is just absolutely tremendous police work as well.
Yeah, you're talking about, this is roughly, 3 hours, Ryan? It started right around 7:08 this morning at 9:43. That is when that push alert went out notifying everybody that the suspect was in custody. And one of the reasons why they were able to do this so quickly is because of that victim who was shot twice in the arm. That victim was able to tell investigators exactly who pulled the trigger, exactly who fired 5 shots at him inside of the parking garage here at Corewell Health, Troy, and that made all the difference in tracking down the suspect and getting that suspect into custody. A lot of people relieved right now. Back to you.
All right, Robin Murdoch, tremendous work out there. We will come back to you momentarily, but we are going to take a break here and reset. Thanks so much, Robin and Josh out there, but sit tight. We'll get back out to you. We'll take a break and be right back here. The 9 continues. We are continuing to follow breaking news out of Troy. A suspect is in custody and all clear given at Troy Beaumont Corewell Health Hospital right now. Fox 2's Robin Murdoch has been out there live, but we're going to go now to Troy School District Superintendent Dr. Richard Macheski, who's on the phone with us now. Doctor, are you with us?
I am, yes.
Thanks so much for your time. I know this is an incredibly difficult morning. Just walk us through, from your perspective, what Troy schools were faced with this morning and how that process laid out.
Yeah, absolutely. These are challenging times, of course, no matter where you're at. But in this particular case, it's all about timing. And specifically, we were informed that there was an incident at Troy Corewell around 7:30-ish, which is right at drop-off time for our seniors, or excuse me, our high school students And then shortly thereafter, we have drop off for our middle school. So we decided to go into to a minimum security mode, which means that students are in the building, but there's no activity that takes place outside the building. So doors are all locked and so forth. So we got our high schoolers in. We were able to get our middle schoolers in, and then the question was really our elementary students. So per the directive with the Troy PD, we decided to continue on with elementary drop-off with additional staff, providing opportunity to get students into our buildings and so forth.
It's a little bit of a threading the needle situation, I can imagine, as well, because you want to keep the kids safe. You want to keep the students safe, especially, but not causing them a huge concern as well, you know, on the mental side of things. Having elementary kids, school-age kids myself, I can imagine that process to keep things as normal as possible for them was a big factor as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, the safety of our students and staff and our community is of utmost importance to the Troy School District. And so with that in mind, we just decided to business as usual, get students in the building as quickly as possible, get into our instructional day, and communicate with staff what was happening.
And this, of course, is not the kind of on-the-job training you want when it's a real-life situation, but you have to use these opportunities to learn and to improve your own systems. Is there anything that you identified that perhaps in the future could be done differently, or anything that you could say, this absolutely works for us, if heaven forbid we are in another situation like this?
Yeah, you know, that's a great question, and we do an after-action review after every incident occurs. We'll do the same in this case, but I will tell you, in the Troy School District, we have an exceptional relationship with the Troy Police Department. We have a security director who's in constant contact with our school resource officers, and we have honed lines of communication across our district. So I feel real confident that when we get information, we're able to share it quickly, appropriately. We're able to communicate with our buildings, get them into the appropriate security mode. So I think all in all, and you never want to see these situations occur, I think we were able to respond quickly, utilizing good information, keeping folks up to date, and so forth. But of course, we'll do an after-action report and see if there's any other way in which we can improve our responses in situations like this.
Dr. Macheski, as superintendent, you're responsible for all schools in the district, but Wass Elementary School is just 2.1 miles down DeQuinder from the hospital. Was there anything special you had to do with that particular school?
No, we managed all of our schools the same way. We had additional staff that were directed to go to buildings, in particular those buildings a little bit closer to Troy Corewell. So I know I, for instance, was over at Wass for a period of the morning, just in an effort to provide additional support if it were necessary. But I can tell you, our building administrators, our district administration are just exceptional at responding to situations like this, making sure that we are always maintaining the security of our student, staff, and our community as our number one priority.
Dr. Macheski, what is that communication piece like with the parents during a time like this? Because, you know, all morning long there's an active shooter that is not in custody yet, and I'm sure that raises a huge concern for parents who have their kids at school. What is that communication like for you to relay any messages to your parents?
Yeah, that's a really important question, and that is something that we constantly talk about with our communications director. We, of course, want to communicate as early and as often as possible, but it's really also important to make sure that we're communicating accurate information, which is why it's important for us to make sure that we're in constant communication with Troy PD, and we're then communicating accurately. But communications this morning, as soon as we had knowledge of what was occurring, We sent that out. We asked building principals to send out information at the elementary level, just reassuring the community that students were going to be safe. But I completely understand and respect the fact that our parents were at heightened risk, as were staff.
After school activities, sports, things like that, are they continuing as normal now going forward?
Yes, absolutely. We just received about 15 or so minutes ago the all clear from Troy PD. So we have lifted our minimum security mode. So the rest of the day will be business as usual.
Dr. Richard Macheski, thank you so much for your time this morning. We know it's an extremely busy time for you. Great job at your schools as well. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you as well for your time.
Absolutely. And again, just to recap for you, a shooting happened in the parking garage at Corewell Health, Beaumont Troy Hospital this morning. Call came in at about 7:08 this morning. Hospital was on lockdown. One victim shot twice in the arm, was able to identify the suspect, and now that suspect is in custody. There is an all clear at the hospital. Schools got the all clear as well, so business is resuming. Corewell Health Troy Beaumont campus is in the process of resuming all regular activities. So that is great news this morning.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Good job to those police out there, and we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
We are continuing to follow breaking news out of Troy this morning. A suspect now in custody after a manhunt following a shooting at Corewell Health Beaumont Troy Hospitals. Fox 2's Ingrid Kelly standing by for us now. Ingrid, what can you tell us?
Oh, well, good morning. I am here at Flynn Park, which has been a staging area, and leaving the area right now is Sheriff Michael Bouchard, who's kind enough just to kind of sum up the situation for us. Sheriff, what can you tell us?
Well, this was our CPR command post for all the operations in the area. The suspect has been taken into custody, so we're releasing most of the assets from the area. We're doing some final things with our partners. Troy's going to take everything from this point forward. They'll be talking to the media at some point in the day about the totality of what happened.
What can you tell us about how you were able to put this suspect into custody?
We're probably not going to get in too great a detail at this point about that. The most important thing was that he was located quickly. Obviously, a lot of things need to happen at the hospital. We had to get that clear so that they could get back to doing emergency surgery and taking care of their patients and give some reassurance to the community. Troy and everybody did a great job partnering up and making sure that happened.
Exactly. And this scene is massive. I mean, I'm looking at the response. What did it take in terms of, I saw Shelby Township, Troy, obviously Oakland County deputies, just to bring some calmness to this?
Yeah, there were tons and tons of agencies, federal, state, local, county, air assets. You know, we created an air boss, all sorts of things just to make sure everything was coordinated. And, you know, Oakland County and all of our partners work great, and Troy's a great police department, and, you know, they obviously are in the lead on that, and we're going to work through this process anytime we have a situation like this.
Yeah. Sheriff, thank you so much for your time. Great work. Thank you so much. And again, back out here live, that was Sheriff Michael Bouchard, but you can see just how massive this scene is. If you take a look behind me, you can see the Oakland County Sheriff Mobile Command Center. When I actually pulled up into this scene, there were law enforcement officials with long guns. I mean, the massiveness and the severity of this situation, they are like Army type vehicles here responding to the scene. But again, as you heard from the sheriff, the good news is that it's under control. The person is in custody, but again, there's so many questions, kind of what led to this, what was in the mindset of this person, and they're all trying to figure this out. Again, they're trying to restore order to this area. You see Bloomfield Hills responding. It looks like workers are now trying to come in here now as they try to maintain some type of order. We've got a hospital staff now arriving and trying to actually get started with their day. Of course, we're going to be following this story. We're out here. We're going to bring you the very latest. Back to you guys in the studio.
And Ingrid, as Sheriff Bouchard said, you know, just very quick police work, and everything needed to happen right to be able to apprehend the suspect without incident.
That is correct. And, you know, it's unfortunate, but Oakland County, they've had some experience with these type of situations. I mean, you know, from a school shooting to what happened in the splash park and now this. But unfortunately, it's those type of incidents that sort of lead to this experience with handling these type of situations. In Oakland County, they did the job. I mean, they got everything under control. And now, as you can see, this command post area is clearing out, and they're trying to restore order.
All right, great job out there, Ingrid Kelly, for us live at the staging area. We're going to go back outside of Troy Beaumont Hospital, where Robin Murdoch is standing by. Robin?
Hey, good morning, Ryan. We've changed locations a little bit. We're still right in front of Corewell Health, Beaumont's Troy Hospital location, but we're just down, we were down the road a little bit before, obviously because DeQuinder was blocked off. Now that the roadway is open and the suspect is in custody, we've moved locations. We're able to get a little bit closer to the hospital. And I will step out of the way because you can see cars are now coming on and off of the property. And there's only a couple of emergency crews left out here now. As you know, just a half hour ago, there were dozens and dozens of emergency vehicles that were out here. It is tremendously fewer out here right now because this situation has been resolved, and obviously want to get everybody here at Corewell Health back to work. They've got important surgeries that need to happen, emergency surgeries, and patients that need to be cared for. And that, of course, is why they wanted to resolve the situation as quickly as possible. And again, it does appear that that has happened within roughly about 3 hours. The first call came in right around 7:08 this morning. By 9:43 this morning, they had that suspect in custody. And the victim in this case, crucial in this situation, that victim was able to tell investigators exactly who shot him twice in the arm. That information led investigators to the suspect, and as you know, he was taken into custody without incident. Back to you guys.
Robin, any advice to people that have those surgeries or appointments? Maybe you had it during the period of time where they said don't come to the hospital, but now things are all clear and the business going back to normal. Are they delayed? Are they canceled? Are you hearing anything about how people should find out information if they have an appointment?
Yeah, that is a great question, Derek. The best thing you can do, obviously, when all of this was going on, hospital workers were telling people to stay away from the hospital, stay far away from here to avoid the area. Now, the best thing you can do is just call ahead, double check to make sure your appointment is still standing if it's been rescheduled. Obviously, that's a 3-hour gap there in which a lot of things that should have happened at the hospital were not able to happen because the search for the suspect was underway. So the best thing you can do probably is to give a call to the hospital and just check the status of your appointment or surgery, whatever you needed to take care of here today.
Well, that's great advice. You've done great work out there, Robin, as always. Thank you so much. And now we will head over to Josh Landon. Josh was live during the press conference, and there when officers gave the information and also gave the all clear that suspect had been apprehended. Now, Josh, it seems that officers have switched from investigative mode, where perhaps they were a little more giving with information and needed the media's help, to now the all clear and perhaps wrapping up this investigation.
Hey, Mario, yes, and that's exactly right. And of course, we prefer the latter, where we're hearing that there is becoming we're seeing some kind of conclusion, some kind of resolution to this very sad and emotional morning at Troy Corewell Beaumont Hospital. We're at the Police and Fire Training Center on John R. and Long Lake Road, about 3 miles away from the hospital scene where Robin Murdoch and Ingrid Kelly have been all morning long. But nevertheless, yeah, we were here on live when we heard at the very moment that the suspect is in custody, and that is the one piece of good news here. We're hearing more of an all clear over at the hospital, as you guys have been talking about within the past few moments. And I mean, tragically enough, I mean, these are the times we live in where you're hearing about one active shooter situation, one after the other. And if there is any silver lining, law enforcement here locally is more equipped, more familiar, sad, but nevertheless familiar with these types of situations, and which led to that quick police work that's happened around 7:08 this morning in that parking structure at the hospital. And now we're talking about the suspect is in custody. Now, one piece of new information I can share, there's going to be an updated press conference sometime today. At first, they were saying 11:30 this morning, but now they're saying 1 p.m. at the Troy Police Department. 1 p.m. updated press conference at the Troy Police Department. But again, keeping people safe in these types of situations. Take a listen.
Sure. This is very emotional, I'm sure, for all those employees that were at the hospital and immediately involved in this, who, you know, received the lockdown notice immediately. Like I said, I just want to send a message to them that we're there, we're on scene, we're doing our best to keep you safe, and I'm confident that they are safe inside that hospital.
And once again, that is Lieutenant Ben Hancock with the Troy Police Department, just letting the community know they are here to help. They are here to give people peace of mind that this situation is finding some sort of resolution. The suspect is in custody. We're talking about a massive hospital, hundreds of patients, hundreds of employees. We're still trying to find out what is the day going to look like, as I believe Derek asked Robin that question of what the day is going to look like as far as appointments and things of that nature, who you should call, what you should find out, etc. But again, emotional, fluid, but nevertheless, the suspect is in custody. Quick police work. We're hearing a press conference at the Troy Police Department around 1 p.m. later on today. Guys, back over to you.
Yeah, Josh, Troy Police posting on X just 1 minute ago, press conference regarding today's incident at 1 p.m. today. And again, still so many questions, though, as well, Josh. I mean, we still don't know anything about what led up to the shooting, if this was at the end of a shift, at the beginning of a shift, how long the employees were employed at the hospital, in what department they were employed. So still plenty of questions to be answered.
Absolutely. There are a lot of unknowns, Ryan, at this time. We were here asking those very questions about X, Y, and Z, everything you just said, and those are some of the questions we hope to learn more about, more answers later on today at that 1 p.m. press conference. That could change because, again, an officer came in and said it was scheduled for 11 a.m. or 11:30 a.m., excuse me. Now it's been pushed back to 1 p.m. Fluid, emotional. Police are trying to find out more information as this investigation continues. But yes, a lot of unknowns regarding the two employees. How long have they been employed at the hospital? What led up to this situation, which caused the suspect to fire 5 gunshots with that handgun, shooting the suspect, the victim twice in the arm. It's good to hear that victim is in stable condition and will recover physically. But again, a lot of unknowns as to what led up to this tragic moment.
Josh, another question perhaps you'll be able to ask officers later on at this press conference. I do have people on social media who are reaching out to me saying that this particular parking garage has been an issue where people have felt unsafe, and now there are some calls for more cameras in that area, as well as metal detectors when you enter the hospital in certain areas.
Hey, that's news to me, Mario. We didn't have any word of that. None of us here at the press conference didn't have any word of that about this particular parking structure being an issue in the past, but it's definitely a question to ask. I'm sure people who work at the hospital, again, a massive hospital, they have alluded to that point, so it's a question to ask later on today.
Yes.
Again, I can't get away from the words fluid and emotional because it seems like every moment we're talking about this, something is changing, but it's good to know the suspect is in custody.
All right, Josh, great stuff out there. Thanks so much. Sit tight. We'll get back to you momentarily, but we're going to take a break, and we'll see you on the other side.
to follow and track the shooting early this morning at Corewell Health, Beaumont, Troy. We'll have more updates for it. What we know so far is that the shooter is in custody and the victim is in stable condition after taking 2 bullets to the arm. So we'll have more updates on that as we move through the morning. But we do want to give you a little update on what's happening weather-wise around here as some rain moved through last night. We're now dealing with transitioning precipitation from rain showers into some snowflakes, and we will see some snowflakes as we move through the day today. Here's Fox Futurecast starting this at 10 a.m. We'll watch that snow track across the state. That will take us through the afternoon into the early evening. We may see some of this sticking to some grassy surfaces, the mulch beds, things like that. Will it stick to the ground? Well, we're coming off of 2 days of 70 degrees or so it may take a second, but there's a possibility we could see just a little bit of that. Running Fox Futurecast even further as we move overnight Friday into early Saturday, we'll see some more winter precipitation track through as we return more towards a winter-looking forecast here as opposed to that nice spring weather that we've had for the last couple of days. Temperatures are pretty cold out there for Lansing, 33. Howell is at 35. Hopefully you grabbed that winter coat on the way out the door. Maybe you didn't need it very early as temperatures were 45 to 50, but these 30s are coming in.